Hey, how are you doing? This is Neil, and this is a quick tutorial on how to make a unbeatable version of Pong. I'm doing this tutorial for a friend of mine called Ryan Smith. We're going to do it in Flash, and we're going to use ye olde Actionscript 2. The reason I'm using Actionscript 2 is because it's a nice basic language. Ryan wanted the tutorial, not for the actual syntax, but just to see how to code something simple. And I'm going to quickly put it together. It's probably going to look absolutely underwhelming, and like I say, it's just so he could see how to put something really simple together. Okay, alright then, so we're going to need, I've just opened Flash, we're in CS4, and we're actually using, rather than using Flash, we're using the actual Flash program so we can see what's happening on screen. Okay, so new Actionscript 2 document. I'm going to make the documents as modified document. I want it 800 by 600. Okay, and the frames per second is 24. Excellent. We'll have a look at that later. I'll show you a couple of tricks with it. Okay, so first of all, if you're not familiar with Pong, and by the way, let's just save this to the desktop, and we'll call it Pong. Pong, and we'll put it on the desktop. Excellent. Okay, right then, if you're familiar with Pong, you know you have a screen, 2 bats each side, and a ball. Alright then, okay, so we're going to make a quick ball. So we're going to make the ball no stroke and black. I'm going to make it, I'm not going to worry about sizes, that big. Okay, in Flash, anything that's that it's susceptible to Actionscript or code needs to become what is known as a movie clip. So we're going to convert it to a symbol. We're going to make it a movie clip, and we're going to call this ball_MC. Okay, and there it is. And we're going to need 2 bats, so I'm going to make one like this, and we're going to call this, click it, right click, convert to symbol, and call it bat_MC. Okay, and we're going to hold Alt, make a duplicate. So there they are. Okay, and we need 2 other things. Now we need collision for walls. So I'm going to draw one here, like this. And we're going to call the same thing, right click, convert to symbol, we're going to call it wall_MC. And we're going to duplicate that one as well and put it down the bottom. Okay, we're also going to need, I'm just going to zoom out quickly to do this, another wall, another 2 walls in fact, because we want collision off screen for when the ball gets missed. Now we won't need one on the other side, but I'm going to put it there anyway. Okay, right then. Next thing is, although they're movie clips, we now need to give them individual instance names. So we're going to call this ball_MC. We're going to call this one player_MC, and we're going to call this one comp for computer_MC, and we're going to call this top wall_MC. We're going to call this bot wall_MC, and we're going to call this play hit_MC, and we're going to call this comp hit_MC. Okay, right, now then. So we've given them all instance names, and by the way, in case you're wondering what, every time I attach this MC, you can call it whatever you like, but every time I attach this MC, I put an underscore under it. It just stands for movie clip, and also if there's 2 words in the title, I camel case, which means every new word gets a capital letter. Okay, right then. So what we're going to do, we're going to create, so we're going to call these components, and we're going to have a new layer. We're going to call this actions. This is where our script is going. And we're going to click on this, and this is our actions frame window. If you haven't got the same layout, you won't have the same layout as me, but for this you're going to need the properties and the actions, and you can get those from in here. So there's properties there, and actions is there. If you open those out, they'll come out as flowing bars. They may well be around here on your interface. Okay, so what we're going to do first of all is click on this frame, highlight it, and now the script window or the actions window is adhering to that, and what we're going to do is pin it by here so that if we click on anything else it'll stay there. It won't go onto the actions for individual items. Okay, and we can lock the components now. Go on here and go into our actions, and the first thing we're going to do, just to put an action in there, is write stop. This command, although if we had many frames, what it would do is just stop the timeline from running. Flash works on a linear timeline. If you had 20 frames and no actions, it would just keep looping the 20 frames. We've only got one, so it'll just stay on there, but I always like to put the stop command in. I don't know why. I think it's just to get the little action A to show up. Okay, so let's get into the guts of this. Right then, we need a few things. We're going to talk about, in this tutorial, we're going to talk about 3 elements. We're going to talk about functions, we're going to talk about variables, and we are going to talk about if statements. Okay, so let us go. First of all, we need to start, what do we need? We need some movement. Okay, so let's start with the player movement. Okay, and I want this to be mouse controlled. So what I'm going to say is player underscore MC. So I'm calling the player underscore MC, which if we unlock here and click on, that's his name there. So we're going to say player underscore MC dot on enter frame. Now then, what does this mean? Flash at the moment, if we go back into our document, is running at 24 frames per second. Now that may seem counterintuitive being as we only have 1 frame, but what that does mean is that every 24 frames per second it's refreshing 24 times. So if you say player MC, so it's saying player MC on enter frame, that means it's going to call whatever I put in this, so I'm going to write a function, it's going to call this function 24 times every second. So we're going to say player on enter frame equals function. Okay, and open and close braces, and then curly braces, open and close, and hit enter. Now then, let's quickly explain what's going on here again. So we know that the player MC, every 24 frames, do a function. Now we've opened and closed, and then we open and close curly brackets, and what this means is everything that happens in here now will happen 24 frames every time on command of player. Okay, so what we're going to say is this. We're going to talk about the value. We want to deal with the Y value of this. We don't want the X value, X being left and right, Y being up and down. Okay, so what we're going to say is player underscore MC dot underscore Y, which means the player's Y-axis or Y movement, equals, and I think in Actionscript 2, it's been a while, I think it's underscore Y mouse. Right, okay, so what we're going to do now is, if you hold, on my computer it's Apple, but on a PC it would be Control, Apple, enter, and it'll test the movie. And there we go. So this is now our movement. There you go, it's all working. No matter where you go on the screen, if you go outside the screen, it stops working. Within the screen, It's now, so basically what I've told the player bat to do is its Y value is now equal to the mouse's Y value, and that's refreshing 24 times every second. So there you go, very simply we've now got the player movement. Now then, if this is going to be an unbeatable game of Pong, I want my comp so let's get our comp underscore MC dot on enter frame equals function, and what I want that to do is so comp underscore MC dot underscore Y equals, now I want this to be equal to the ball's Y, because I don't want it ever not to be hitting or to be in line with the ball, therefore it'll never be beat. Okay, so we're going to go ball underscore MC, and we every time you close a statement you use a semicolon, or a condition even, not even a statement. Okay, so we test that, not working. Why? We got ball MC. That's why, because I've said comp underscore MCs dot underscore Y is ball MC equal to ball MC. No, it's equal to ball MC dot underscore Y. Let's try that. Bang, and there it is. Okay, and when that ball starts moving, it'll match it. Okay, so we have our movement for our player and our computer player. So what we need to do now is get the ball moving. Okay, so what we need now is a variable. And a variable is a piece of data that, how can I explain this? It's a piece of data that's conditional to change, so it can be changed with declarations, functions, whatever. But you need a starting point, so we're going to declare a variable for the ball speed. So we're going to say var, so that's how you declare a variable, and we're going to call it ball speed equals, and we'll call it 10. Now then, let's write a new function. And we're going to go ball underscore MC dot on enter frame equals function. Okay, and we're going to say ball underscore x dot no, ball underscore MC dot underscore x equals no, we're not. We are going to do a different thing now, because if we say, right, I'll show you. If we say equal ball speed, which is our variable, it's going to say, it's the equivalent of saying ball underscore MC dot underscore x equals ball speed, which is 10. Okay, now what that's going to do is something daft. Yep, the ball's moved. The problem is we've said it's equal to 10. 10 being this, so basically this is the value, 10 being here, 20, 30, 40, 50, blah, 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 blah. So we don't want it to do that. We want it to adhere to the speed. So we want it to shift 10 every frame. So what we use, instead of equals, we use a thing called plus equals, which means it will now move 10 frames additionally. So basically it's saying this plus 10. So basically balls underscore x value plus 10, and then it'll refresh plus 10 plus 10. So it's moving 10 every time. So you can then change this, say for instance, to 1, and it'll move very slowly. Or you could change it to 50, and it'll move poof, very fast. And this is how a variable works. So we're going to leave it at 10 for now. And now what we need to do is to add some collision to this, so that the ball knows that when it hits something, it's got to do something. Now the reason we've set this variable up is that we can change the speed. So if we wanted, say for instance, to go the opposite way, to go to the left, we make the ball speed a -10. It goes the other way. Okay, so that's how we are going to start changing our ball's movement. So what we're going to say is this. If, oh, not a capital, if, and this is the if, right, okay, so this is the if statement. So basically what we're saying is if, open bracket, ball MC, or ball underscore MC, and we're going to use in Actionscript, it's a thing called hit test, dot hit test, and then open brackets again, and we're going to say comp. So we'll start with comp underscore MC, and we shut the brackets for, so we're going to shut the brackets for this one, and then we're going to shut the brackets for this one, so you get 2 brackets at the end. And just the same as a function, we need to put in curly braces to tell it what to do if this is true. So ball hits hit test, the comp MC, and what I'm going to say now is ball speed is now to change to -10. So let's check and see what happens now. Book. Excellent. Right. Okay. And we need to have a return value now. So we're going to say if ball MC dot hit test to player underscore MC. That, we're missing that, we're missing that closing bracket there, and that's why let's not jump into the line. We're going to say the same thing, so copy and paste this in, except this time it's going to be 10. Okay, so now you should have the ball moving back. Book. And there you go. Now then, what's wrong with this picture? Seems a little easy. Well, we need a new variable, and we will call this ball. What should we call it? Ball. I should. Do you know what? I should call ball speed ball X, but we'll call this ball vert. There you go. Anything we do. So ball vert, and we're gonna make this 5. Let's see what happens. Nothing, because we haven't told the ball to do anything. So if we go back into the ball's code here, we're gonna say the same thing here. Ball underscore dot underscore X. We're going to change that to Y, so that is the up and down value. And we're going to make this, instead of the ball speed variable, we're going to make it the ball vert variable. Let's try that. Excellent. And off the ball goes, and with the bat, taking the bat with it into cyberspace. There you go. Excellent. Okay, so we have another issue now. We need our ball to collide with the walls. Okay, so it's basically the exact same code as you have here. So we are going to say if ball underscore MC dot hit test, and this time we're going to pick the bottom wall. I'm going to say bot wall, so I'm going to copy that in, make sure I don't spell it wrong. I want a negative, I want it to start, no actually, yeah, I need a negative value. So I need ball vert to suddenly become a -5. Let's try that. Yep, looks good to me. And if we grab this if statement, copy it, and paste it, and do the exact opposite, So if it hits top wall, you want it to become a positive 5. And now we should have a game of Pong you can't win. Okay, and what you can do, set this to 20 and make it up. Now I've set the value to 20, but basically what's happened is that 20 is suddenly turned into a 10 the first time it touches either the player or the computer. And there is a way to change this, which I shall show you in your next tutorial. But for now, with how many lines? If we get rid of the white space, let's have a look very quickly. In 26 lines of code, and some of them unnecessary, i.e. the stop, so 25 lines of code, you now have a very basic unbeatable Pong game. And in the next what I'll show you how to do is to use these variables with a bit of maths. Instead of changing the numbers to an exact value, we can use the ball speed and the ball vert to actually increase the speed of the game, to have an input box where you can set the speed of the game, and have an incremental speed of the game, so that every time the ball strikes one of the bats, it'll speed up by a value of 1 until it becomes impossible. And then in a third tutorial, what I'm going to look at, that's my ray gun going off, in the third tutorial what I'm going to look at is actually coding some really basic AI for the comp so that it does lose occasionally. And we'll also look at perhaps level selecting, making this 2-player, and perhaps we'll look at a finite game. So basically, if you score 5 points, or if the computer scores 5 points, the game is over and it restarts. And we'll look at that in the next 2 tutorials. So thanks for listening. This is Neil at Pixel Panic, and I hope you've enjoyed.